Alright, welcome back, or welcome to the first part of my art journey. I'm going to start my proper art journey from here. This is where I'll be trying to upload things weekly. And to start off, I got a new tablet. I bought a Huion Canvas 16 Pro, 2.5K I believe. It cost me quite a bit, but I'm very grateful I can afford it. Not everyone can, so very happy with this purchase, and things feel a lot easier now. Before, I was drawing on something which didn't have a screen, and it made it difficult to kind of gauge what I was doing properly, and when it came to drawing lines and stuff, it took forever. Anyway, onto the art. Most of this is just figure drawings, which it will be for the coming weeks. Each figure drawing is about 5 minutes a piece, and I did about 25 to 30, I think that's right. I did a Lux Ray, and something I want to start doing is doing things which are just purely my own creation, rather than just imitating anyone else's style. I want to try and start to do things by myself. And while this isn't entirely my own piece, Lux Ray belongs to the Pokemon company. The pose is something I found online. I found a cat and I was like, I'm going to draw a Lux Ray in this pose. It came out looking fine. And then the last piece is I drew someone's OC. I've mentioned Ira 1 before. Ira 1 loves clowns, and they have their own clown OC. That's going to be at the very end. Ira 1's drawn stuff for me before, and I told them I'd do the same for them, so here it is. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, I remember I mentioned in the last video that I was a teacher, so let's talk about that. I want to talk about one of my biggest grievances as a teacher, and that was a problem child. I was only ever a teacher for 1 year, probably even less than that, and I started out in a primary school, working stuff there. Mainly worked in the reception there, but it was in the next town over. So eventually I got a call that there was a position available in a secondary school in my own town. So I jumped on that instantly. Only problem was, this secondary school happens to be probably the worst ranked secondary school in the entire county. Not even just the town, the entire county. And so I was taking over the IT classes as, well, I was supposed to be an assistant teacher, but they just got me to cover lessons. And of course, initially it was nervous. I wasn't used to leading my own lessons, and although work was given to me, trying to direct students was definitely new for me. I had a good start though. The first 2 days, they went fine, they went cool. It wasn't too difficult to get along with the students either. I think it's because I'm more of a similar age to them. We're all Gen Z there, so I could relate to them a lot more than some of the other teachers who were in their 60s, 70s. Being a problem school and also being a new teacher, it's very difficult to build a rapport with the kids there, because they think they can get away with anything because you are just a new guy who's going to be gone eventually. And while that was true for me, I think I did my best, and I think the kids appreciated that. I hope anyway. But yeah, following my good start, it was my first Thursday, and I had afternoon class with year 7s for IT. And the class itself, overall, not too bad, but there was this one girl, and she did not want to do any work and was super disruptive to the rest of her peers. I tried really hard, but after like 30 minutes, I had to kick her out. And this continued a cycle. Every time I had this Thursday class, I had to kick her out, every single time. I started dreading Thursdays because I knew she was going to be there, and I really tried to help. But when she's making the other kids worse, and that's not an exaggeration by the way, as soon as she was gone, the other kids calmed down. She left me no other option. In fact, I think the quickest I ever kicked her out was in my 3rd lesson with them. After this, I think she just didn't like me at this point already, which is fine. I didn't like her that much either. But within 2 minutes, she started dragging her chair across the classroom to go sit with her mate. And we have like this kind of U-shaped room, so she kind of dragged it around the entire U, or was trying to at the very least, before I stopped her. Told her to go back to her seat, she refused, and I had to kick her out. Back then, I was really annoyed at this. But right now, I just feel sorry for her, you know? You can never really tell what's going on in someone's life. Maybe they had a really bad home environment, or they just ran with the wrong crowd. I can't judge her, but then again, I couldn't let her disrupt the rest of the class. So I had to keep kicking her out. About a couple months in, they finally got a new IT teacher, so I just became a replacement teacher for anyone who was sick or just didn't turn up for some reason. Eventually I got located to one of the maths class, which kind of became my home for a little bit. So I barely saw her that much anymore, until one of the last few weeks where I took over a maths class. And she was there, but it was different this time because she was just silent throughout. And I just remember thinking to myself that I just feel bad for her. It was clear to me that she'd gotten like a really stern lecture from one of the like higher up teachers, and it kind of just destroyed her for that day. And I can't really do anything about that. There are restrictions to what an assistant teacher or substitute teacher can do. There were definitely other problem children I had in that school, but she was definitely the worst, and I wish her the best. I hope she's doing better now. Luckily, that was probably the worst experience I had at that school. Everyone else was really nice. And while they did try and get away with stuff all the time, they're just kids being kids. And once I started being there a lot more frequently and people started warming up to me, they started to chill out a lot more. So, I don't blame the school. I don't blame the kids either, for that matter. If anything, I blame the system. There was a lot going on behind the scenes at that school. And also, the town I was from was pretty rough to begin with, so there's just a lot going on. Either way, even though there were bad kids at school, I really remember the good kids a lot more. The positive memories I made at that school, that really shaped me overall. And that's a good thing, because I feel like sometimes you get too bogged down on the negatives, so it's good to look back on things positively. These experiences taught me a lot of things, taught me to be the person I am today. It really gives you a perspective on the education industry as a whole, because a lot of people complain about it, but no one's really involved in it, unless you're a teacher. I think I'll give some more teaching stories another time, because boy do I have a lot to tell. Anyway, back to the art piece. Yeah, this is the clown I was drawing. This is really just a test of lighting for me, as well as doing a favor for a friend. Speaking of, if anyone wants me to draw them something, draw them an OC or whatever, as long as you give me something to go off of, I don't mind doing that. Anything to improve my art skills. Well, I think that's it for this video. Short video. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to word these stories better, because that feels like a very abrupt end. If there is a moral, it's try to view things from another person's perspective, because you don't know what they're going through. Don't forget to love yourself. See you guys next week.